told you, coulda.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Connie. We here back once again on 910 Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I want to first and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here live every week, to be able to have this great platform. My brother Jacob, like I said, he's still dealing with the storm issues or whatever, the electricity situation that they had with the storm and everything. So he's not going to be on this episode, but he should be back next week, ready to go. Hopefully, prayerfully, everything should be up and back and running for him by next weekend. So, once again, I'm going to come through and hold it down once again. So, first and foremost, the first topic of the night we're going to get into the Devante Adams and Amari Cooper trade situation. So basically, Amari Cooper. Let's start with Devante Adams. Devante Adams, I guess he's not getting along with Antonio Pierce down there in Raider Nation, and they're looking to move him. I know all this past week they were talking to different teams about possibly, allegedly moving him to a different team, and of course, it's allegedly that he's saying that he wants to go back to, he wants to go either with the Jets so he can play with Aaron Rodgers, or he wants to go to the Saints and play with Derek Carr. So that's the two places that he was, I guess, supposed to be going to. Now, in fairness to Devante Adams went and played with Derek Carr with the Raiders because he was wanting to play with Derek Carr. And things didn't work out, and Derek Carr ended up getting traded, and Devante Adams was kind of there, left holding the bag and left there by himself, especially in a situation where he's left there by himself with no quarterback, which is even worse. So in that situation, I kind of feel for Devante Adams because he's on a sorry team, and with no real starting quarterback. Because Gardner Minshew, he's decent, but he's not a starter. He's a backup quarterback. He's a journeyman. He's somebody who he got hot when he first came to the league, being a backup, and that's pretty much it for him. He's not going to be a franchise quarterback. So I believe this week after the Raiders got the stuffing beat out of them today, got the breaks beat off of him, I believe that Devante Adams will probably end up getting traded this week. He didn't play today because they said he had a hamstring injury, or whatever. But who knows? He might have played or not played. But they probably decided to sit him down either way, just so they want he get a further injury, and it'd be hard to trade him. But I do feel like Devante Adams will get traded this week. Being I'm a Washington Commanders fan, I thought about, do we want Devante Adams? Right now, we hitting on all cylinders. Do we really want somebody in that's kind of, I ain't gonna necessarily call Devante Adams a diva, but he's one of those type of receivers that feel like he's supposed to get the ball every time he every time the quarterback's back up, comes out the huddle. He think he's supposed to get the ball every time. So I don't really know if, would I love to have Devante Adams, but at the same time, I don't want to mess up Jaden Daniels, his chemistry, what he got going on with his receivers and his running backs and tight ends right now. Especially the fact the way we putting up points, we're winning. I think I heard earlier that the 150 points that Jaden Daniels has put up in the last few games is the most a rookie has ever put up in a single season over the first, I guess, 4 or 5 games, and scoring 150 points or whatever. So over the last 5 games or 3 or 4 games, or whatever. I forgot. I don't know if it's the whole season, but I think maybe the last 3 or 4 games, he put up over 150 points. So he's breaking all these rookie records already. And, he has Terry McLaurin, which I've said, and I've seen people that's on my Facebook Washington Commanders fan page. And I heard some idiots on there talking about that Terry McLaurin wasn't a number 1 receiver. And I iterated last week. I said yes, he is because he has 4,000 yard rushing. I mean catching seasons, receiving seasons in a row, and he's had 11 quarterbacks in those 4 seasons that he's been in the league, or whatever. So that's crazy in itself that he's been able to still put up numbers, and he's had all these kind of backup quarterbacks. I mean, he's anybody from Carson Wentz to Tyler Haneke to this one, to Joe Jacoby Brissett to Sam Howell. He's had all these different quarterbacks, and he's still been able to put up, you know, the numbers he's put up. So so basically in Devante Adams' situation, I do feel like he needs to get a new start. He needs to get with a. I would love to see him with a contender. Danger don't want to see him go with the Cowboys. I ain't go front to you. I don't want to see him with the Cowboys. But if he does go to a team like, if he goes to the Saints or he goes to the, I only think he's needing to go to the Jets because the Jets is, to me, I don't. The Jets is a hot mess, and I don't know. Devontae Adams may fix their issues, but I just feel like at this point, Aaron Rodgers need to kind of hang it up. They struggle to score. They got weapons, so I don't understand what the problem is. But they got weapons. They just for whatever reason can't score like they want to, or whatever. So I'm trying to understand that when I'm watching the game. It's like you're watching it and you're trying to put a finger on what exactly is wrong with the Jets, but you can't really figure it out. So I don't know if Devontae Adams is going to cure their problems. If he goes to the Saints to play with Derek Carr, I mean that could be a good move. They do need more weapons. I think he would be more effective with the Saints than he would with the Jets because the Saints don't really have. They have Chris Overlay. They still got Alvin Kamara. So for them to get a Devontae Adams would be a good look for the Saints to be able to get him. And a lot of time with receivers, if he's already telling you where he wants to go ahead and send the man where he want to go. I mean, it's not his fault in the situation he was put in the beginning, and for whatever reason, him and Antonio Pierce not on the same page. So just go ahead and let the man go where he want to go. So in the Amari Cooper situation, it's a little bit different. Of course, the crazy part thing about Devontae Adams' situation, we were actually trying to sign him before he went to um, Cleveland. And the crazy part about it is that um, I think at the time Jerry Jones gave him more money to basically to keep him there because he didn't want us to grab him or whatever. And so that was kind of one of those petty old people things that people do. You know what I'm saying? It's like mad petty, like, well, I don't want Washington to get him, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to keep him from them, whatever the case may be. But um, and they ended up trading him anyway to Cleveland later on. So I think like if we got Amari Cooper, I think that would be a better look for us because I don't think Amari Cooper necessarily upset the apple cart when it comes to being able to fit in with the players that's already there. Because Amari Cooper, he's more like what you would call maybe like a possession type receiver. Yeah, he can, get downfield a little bit, but I think him and Terry McLaurin being a 1-2 punch, and we don't really necessarily have what you call a bona fide um, second receiver. You know what I mean? We have like complementary receivers: Luke McCaffrey, Noah Brown. Um, I forgot the other guy, the guy that as far as pronounce his name, Ozumada, whatever, however you pronounce his name. So we have a bunch of complementary plus our backs and our tight ends with Brian Robinson and Eckler and all these other people. So I think Amari Cooper situation. I mean, I love to see him like with the Chiefs because if we don't win the championship, I wouldn't. I would want to see history in the making and to be able to see a team get a three-peat with the Chiefs winning it. So we wasn't to win it, I would definitely would want to see the Chiefs because that is my favorite quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. So I wouldn't mind, and I love Andy Reid as a coach, and what he's always represented. So anyway, we're gonna take a quick break on 910 Sports TV. And we'll be right back. Okay, we back. We back here on 910 Sports TV. Like I said, my man Jacob the Great, he's out this week because of the weather situation, knocked out the electricity and stuff back home. So he's still dealing with all of that. So hopefully he'll be back next week or whatever. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna get into well, we're gonna first go to get into um, the NFL. No, we're gonna get into the college games. So basically, man, yesterday was a wild, wild day. And I want to say this off the rip, off the muscle. When I seen that they made the Cowboys Cowboys, when they made the Alabama Crimson Tide the number one team in the nation after beating Georgia, I said to myself then, I didn't like it. I said then they didn't deserve to be number one. Alabama's not better than Texas. They're not better than Ohio State. From what I've seen, watching these other teams play or whatever. Texas is probably the most deepest team there is in college football right now. Now, not to say that none of these teams can't be beat, but if you watch the Georgia Alabama game, Alabama went up by like 30-7 in the second half, and Georgia pretty much walked them down until the last couple of minutes when Ryan Williams, the phenomenal wide receiver for Alabama, made a huge play to get the lead back. But if you watch the game, if you actually watch it, Alabama doesn't have the greatest defense right now. So to me, how I didn't understand how they went from being the number four team in the nation to jumping all those teams and going number one just because they beat Georgia. And the thing about it was, reason why I say it's not that big of a deal that they beat Georgia is because they always beat Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Even thing about it is, even though Georgia for the most part, has been the best team in college football the last several couple of years. They Alabama still has their number. Kirby Smart has only beaten Georgia one time. I mean Alabama one time in the six times they played each other. So I don't think that was that big of a deal for the Alabama to have beaten Georgia, especially when they was playing at home and they beat them. So it's like, okay, so what's the big deal? So all of a sudden they beat Georgia and they jumped from four to number one, and they're playing, and then at the end of the day, for them to get beat by a Vanderbilt team that dominated the game. So it wasn't one of those things. If you watch the Alabama Vanderbilt game, it wasn't one of those games where Alabama was playing this great game, and then Vanderbilt was playing out of their mind type deal. It was kind of like the opposite. If you didn't know no better, if you was not a football fan, or didn't really understand Alabama's history, who they were, the championships, the whole nine, and you watched Alabama versus Vanderbilt yesterday, you would have thought Vanderbilt was the one with all the championships, with all the history, with all the glory. They had, I think it was 42 minutes of time of possession to Alabama's like 18. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So basically Vanderbilt had the ball almost the entire game. If you think about it, they had the game. They had possessed the ball. They possessed the ball at least three quarters of the game. So basically, that's like saying that Alabama only had the ball like maybe like a quarter, not even like a quarter, 18 minutes. I wouldn't say a quarter and a half, like a quarter and 3 minutes that Alabama had the ball yesterday against a Vanderbilt team. That's a better team than they used to be. They're not so much of a laughing stock. But Vanderbilt, if Alabama's the number one team in the nation, Vanderbilt had no business being in the game with Alabama. They had no business. Their quarterback, they had the perfect game plan where they pretty much ran the ball all over Alabama the whole entire game. And I think the quarterback only threw the ball maybe like 15 to 20 times the entire game. So they pretty much ran the ball down Alabama's throat. So that means, and that means what that means for people that don't understand football. That means that Vanderbilt won in the trenches. So when in college football, especially, if your front line, if them big boys up front, them meat and potato guys, them offensive linemen, if they dominate the defensive line, then they have a good chance of winning. And vice versa. If the defensive line dominates the offensive line, that a lot of times tells the tale of who's going to win the game or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, Alabama is known for their offensive line. They're known for their defensive line. Shoot, the Washington Commanders got two of their defensive linemen on their team, and Payne and Jonathan Allen. Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen came from Alabama or whatever. So at the end of the day, there's no way Vanderbilt should have been able to dominate Alabama's front four the way they did, and they did it. And that's why I said they should have never been the number one team in the nation. I like Jalen Milroe, but Jalen Milroe, I think to a certain degree, I ain't gonna say he's limited, but he does sometimes he does make bad mistakes. He'll throw bad balls, or he's not as always as accurate as he should be. So I do feel like that was kind of if you can get to Jalen Milroe, that's all I'm gonna say. You can get to him, you can rattle him a little bit, especially if you get him down. So and so that was just one of the games that was big. Now let's talk about my Miami Hurricanes. I'm gonna tell y'all something, y'all. I can't even front to y'all. I got in late last night. I drove like 11 hours yesterday from Atlanta to Dallas, Texas. So I drove 11 hours. Went, got me something to eat, came back to my hotel room. And when I first started watching the game or listening to the game, the score was like 7, it was tied at 7. It went from that to basically when I checked the score again, the score was 35-18, and it was 38-18 with 10 minutes, like 11, 12 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. At that time, it's probably, what time is it at that time? Because I was on Central Time. So at that time, it's like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm thinking to myself, man, this game over with. To be honest with you, I already had in my mind thought we were going to lose the game anyway because we had to go all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. Like the furthest drive you could pretty much make from the bottom of Florida or Miami all the way to, I know they didn't drive, but I'm just saying, and going all the way to the West Coast in California. So that jack leg is real for people who never flew before. They go from one coast to another coast 3 hours away. That jet lag is real. And I don't know when Cristobal got the guys over to Cali or whatever, but that's a lot. And then especially the fact that they just came off a major win, a major game against Virginia Tech, an arch rival. Emotions is high. You going back to campus, everybody praising you the whole 9 yards. Now, I will say this much. They didn't come out flat. They came out ready to go. But I just think it took them a minute to get their sea legs, and they probably got a little tired, probably in the throughout the game because, like I said, they just came off of a big win, a big game. But this the thing about it is if you want to be champions, then you gotta sometimes you gotta buckle down, and these type of games you have to win against a team that's kind of that you're supposed to win, even though some people might have thought California might have beat them. This is the type of game that Miami needed to win, especially in the fashion that they did it or whatever. Now they got a bye week, so they got a chance to kind of rejuvenate, come back. I think they played Louisville or Florida State, one of the two after that. And then, so we'll see what's going to happen the rest of the year. But for them to come back from put up 21 points in the last 10, 11 minutes of the game was crazy to me. I woke up this morning looking at my phone like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was going to, I thought the score was going to be worse when I looked at it. I'm like, what? They won what? So, it threw me off. I was baffled. I was confused and baffled for like the next hour after that. You know what I'm saying? It threw me off so bad. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take another quick break here on 910 Sports TV, and we'll be right back. Okay, we back here on 910 Sports TV. Like I said, we had talking about the college football and review. This weekend was mad crazy because it was a lot of teams that pretty much should won and shouldn't have won. Um, Basically, Oregon, they won their game. that was to be given. Texas A&M, Missouri. Texas A&M is playing a lot better than they were early in the season, so they definitely beating Missouri wasn't that big of a deal. Trying to think about games there. I don't know what's going with North Carolina. I think they lost a lot of players last year, so North Carolina's were playing real bad on the football side. Guess we're going to have to make it up when the basketball season starts because football was terrible, terrible. Um, but so basically, Clemson beat Florida State. I knew that was going to happen. Florida State, DJ Ugalayo, whatever his name is, Ugalayo, whatever. He always been kind of average to me ever since he was with Clemson. I didn't like him then, and I dang sure don't like him now. I thought Tennessee. I'm kind of surprised that Tennessee has faltered. Lost yesterday. I thought Tennessee was going to be one of those teams, especially lose against Arkansas. So that's kind of crazy how college football is going right now because it's like the NIL, and this is what I told the guys a couple of years ago. Shout out to my man Steve O and KB. I told them then, I said, when they brought in the NIL and they brought in the transfer portal the way they did, I said it's about to change the landscape of college football. And I said the teams like Alabama are not going to be able to dominate and win, run off 6, 7, 8 championships no more. I said because now what's going to happen now, y'all. And I told them this. I said that's why Nick Saban got out. Why do you think he retired so quick? Because Nick Saban seen the writing on the wall. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. What's gonna happen now? So if you ever been in places like Alabama, in certain places where there's nothing to do and whatever, and a lot of you kids already be kind of homesick and whatever the case may be. But now, if I can get an NIL deal, let's say I'm from Miami, why would I want to leave and go all the way to Alabama or South Bend in Notre Dame or even a small city like Macon, Georgia, if I can still make them and still make my money and do what I need to do, be around family in Miami or California, Los Angeles, or you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. Like, why would I want to leave and go all the way to
trying not to overthink things.